Arnold Schwarzenegger has received an honorary doctorate from Ulster University in Northern Ireland. The university's vice-chancellor said few individuals had shaped global culture across sport, film and public life in the way that Dr. Schwarzenegger had.
India, the world's most populous nation, is beginning its national census to discover more about the 1.4 billion people who live there. The year-long exercise will involve 3 million officials.
South Korea's president says his country is now on a wartime footing due to the ongoing Middle East crisis. He's advocating an additional budget to tackle rising oil prices.
Olympics officials say this year's Winter Games were the cleanest in almost 30 years, with no positive doping tests so far. For the past 2 decades, both the Winter and Summer Games have had to change results retrospectively due to positive tests.
The US military say they've rescued the American airman from the F-15 fighter jet shot down on Friday in a mission deep inside southern Iran. President Trump described it as a huge success, but Iran claimed the US had lost 4 aircraft.
An American hedge fund has offered to buy the Universal Music Group in a deal worth more than $60 billion. The world's biggest music company represents a huge list of artists, including Taylor Swift.
Markets in Asia have rebounded, with Seoul and Tokyo both gaining more than 5%. Brent crude dropped below $100 per barrel. The K-pop group BTS is preparing to play the first show of a comeback world tour on Thursday night in Seoul. The 7 members of the South Korean band had been engaged in mandatory military service for 3 years.
The US Vice President J.D. Vance is on his way back to the United States after marathon talks in Pakistan with Iranian negotiators failed to reach a deal to end the conflict in the Middle East. Mr. Vance said the Iranians had not accepted what he called the US's final offer. Iranian media is reporting that unreasonable demands by the US scuppered progress.
Hungary's incoming Prime Minister Péter Magyar has called on officials appointed by his predecessor Viktor Orbán to resign, describing them as puppets who'd been in power for 16 years. In front of elated supporters, Mr. Magyar promised to restore a system of checks and balances.
The Australian airline Qantas says surging jet fuel prices caused by the US-Israeli war on Iran may cost it an extra $570 million in the second half of this year.
Health researchers suggest that to get the most out of exercise, people should pick the time of day that best suits their body clock, with early risers getting the maximum benefit in the morning, while night owls should train in the evening.
2 rediscovered paintings by the French artist Claude Monet are to be auctioned in Paris and are together predicted to sell for around $15 million. The paintings depict the French countryside and have not been seen in public for over 100 years.
Train tickets from New York City to the stadium hosting the Football World Cup final this year will cost $150, prompting accusations of price gouging. The fare is an 11-fold increase. FIFA is already facing criticism over the high cost of many match ticket prices.
The Prime Minister of Canada has said his country's economic ties to the US have become a weakness. Mark Carney said Canada needed to diversify its trading partners.
Sales of electric cars rose by more than 50% across Europe last month as the price of petrol and diesel rose dramatically because of the Iran war. Industry data from 15 EU countries also shows that 500,000 new electric vehicles were registered in the first 3 months of the year.
And an investigation in South Korea has found that 2 fighter jets collided in mid-air because the pilots were taking pictures and videos with their mobile phones. The incident took place 5 years ago. The investigators found that one of the pilots wanted to take photos of his last flight with the unit. The pilot of another jet filmed a video. Eventually, the 2 F-15Ks collided, although they remained airborne. One of the pilots has since left the military to work for a commercial airline.
The Australian government has announced a deal with Microsoft that will see the tech giant invest roughly $18 billion in AI. 3 million Australians will also receive training as part of the agreement.
The latest hopes for a new round of talks between Iran and the US have faded after President Trump cancelled a planned trip by US negotiators to Islamabad. Mr. Trump said he wasn't going to send his envoys to talk about nothing.
Kenya's Sebastian Sawe, the winner of the London Marathon, and the runner-up Yomif Kajelcha of Ethiopia have become the first two people ever to run a competitive marathon in under 2 hours. Sawe said this new chapter of sporting history was a day to remember.
The man charged with attempting to assassinate Donald Trump at a gala dinner in Washington has appeared in court. Cole Thomas Allen is accused of storming the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday, armed with guns and knives. The suspect faces life in prison if found guilty.
And footballers who cover their mouths during verbal confrontations with opponents at this year's World Cup will be given a red card. FIFA said the new rules are part of measures to address discriminatory and inappropriate behaviour.
시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다.